everybody, this is A of the Dawn. Thank you so much for watching and subscribing and joining in the conversation um, with the Soul Tribe and all the other spiritual warriors and teachers and healers and avatars. Chiron, as I affectionately like to call her, Chiron. With Virgo or in the 6th house. Both very enigmatic. The planet and Virgo, very mysterious and dynamic and hard to put your finger on. Chiron, to me, affects us in the mundane world like a womb that kind of I want to say crept behind you in the middle of the night and tackled you, and you didn't see it coming. It like sucker punched you. You didn't necessarily have any time to think about it. You didn't see it coming. It's not a fair fight. But here you are dealing with this mess. Like that's how Chiron feels, and it's the type of wound that if someone says something to you about it, it makes you super defensive because you feel helpless and you don't know what to do, especially when it comes to Virgo issues with Chiron. When I speak on camera, I feel like I'm straining, just to let you guys know, because I'm super soft spoken, and I really like to talk like this, like just real low and chill. Even though my voice does carry no matter what though. I mean, but like my normal voice would be like something else. But on camera, I feel like I'm punching it. I need to go to some type of speech coach or something so that I can learn how to what's comfortable or whatever. But yeah. Chiron, 6th house, very enigmatic. The mythology of Chiron, Chiron was just trying to help. Chiron has powers and gives them to other people, and he ended up getting hurt by someone that he was helping, and that's just like Virgo. Virgo, you spend your childhood basically taking care of the responsibilities that you saw your mom and dad didn't see. It's like you fill in the gaps like a guardian angel. You're always there to pick up the pieces when before anybody else could see it, and you were a servant. And people took it with Chiron in the 6th house. People definitely took advantage of it. You probably had like way more than you can bear, but you didn't know it when you were a kid. And then it's just kind of like when you get pinned, the person that takes care of things, people don't mind putting stuff on your plate. And then because you babied them, they don't even want to change. Like you can be like, I'm tired. They'll be like, oh, but you can do it. And you're like, bitch. Didn't I just tell you I was tired? How come I don't get respected? How come I'm not respected? There's a thing of personal boundaries being broken, and you going over and beyond, and to the point of your mind breaking. Because since Virgo has to do with Mercury, the message that you get is that how you feel doesn't matter, what you think doesn't matter, and even your health doesn't matter. You could have had secret illnesses when you were a child that you handle on your own. Or you could have people in your life that rather you be sick than healthy so that you can stay with them. That part. You definitely had a lot of mind fuckery in your family as far as what's reality. for some reason, Virgo and people's reality is all about becoming or being, staying consistent in an image, right? And so this Pisces, since Pisces is like right opposite of Virgo, you tend to, in order to get some type of reprieve from that existence, you go into the Pisces energy. And with Chiron being in Virgo or in the sixth house or any type of combination, Chiron with Mercury or whatever, you definitely have a temptation to go to extremes, like extreme health and extreme unhealth, you know. And so your um, issue or path to health or to healing would be having a regimen of self-care that comes from your own inner system, your own belief system, which means you have to get to know yourself, your biorhythms, looking at the moon cycles, just knowing how to take care of yourself for yourself instead of other people telling you, you know, this is what you need to look like, this is the style you should have, this is how much money you should make. And then there's this heavy guilt if you don't live up to people's standards. The very people that you basically raise. It's like you raised your parents. Virgos become more youthful as they get older because they spend their first part of their life parenting the people around them. And as they get older, they get to know their inner child because they didn't get a chance to, which means you didn't get the mirroring you needed. Like nobody came into your little kid world. You had to come up to the adult world, and you had to pretend like you knew what you were doing a lot. And so there just may be this thing where people feel like you don't listen, they can't tell you anything because you didn't get a chance to ask questions, or if you did ask, when you did ask questions, people laughed at you and poked fun at you because your parents may have been like emotionally immature, but they may have been socially sound or materially grounded. And so in our society, when somebody has money, because a lot of times with Virgo energy, there's some type of affluence involved. But in our society, that's all you need in order to be above reproach is to have money. And people take it so far that they won't even listen to their kids. Like intimacy doesn't matter to people. And some people say into me see, like when it comes to intimacy, into me see. And I take it a step further and call it more like eroticism. And I'm not trying to be weird and talk about your parents and eroticism, whatever, but eroticism is more like paying attention to how someone responds to things. And you didn't have that. And so you may not even be in touch with yourself and how you respond to life. And so you may be robotic, like acting like a human being because you're watching other people's behavior, but on the inside you're in a state of complete panic, like what do I do? What do I say? How do I feel? And so you never know how people are going to respond because your responses are just kind of like you're acting all the time. So you definitely may feel like you're living a double and triple life, like you're not even here. You didn't get a chance to be here. And what could help you if you can't afford to go to counseling or to and you can't get to like a group where you can, because it's lots of codependency issues there. If you can't get to a group, journaling really helps. Journaling your feelings as they come up, you know, um, drawing, painting, anything so that you can physically see that's how I feel. You know, and of course, having someone validate you and mirror you as you go through that process is even more helpful. Um, yeah. Keeping a regimen for a long time would be helpful. Even if you feel like it's not working, eventually the self-care will win. Eventually you being positive towards yourself, instead of getting mad at yourself for having different emotions. Like when you get angry, instead of being like, I'm stupid, I'm so dumb, you know, why did I do that? Why do I act like this? Why do I feel this way? Um, Wrap yourself in a blanket and watch your favorite movies. Like do different things than what you usually do when it comes to how you treat yourself. I remember when I first was going through my healing process of healing, my emotions and my responses to life. Everything was super intense because I hadn't cried or felt anything in years, and like I don't know, like maybe since I was like maybe 13, 14 years old, and when I went through my Saturn return at 28, 29, 30, I started crying every day for a year, and it took me a while to get to that point. I saw that I read something that said, in order to get back to yourself, you need to allow yourself to cry, and if you can't cry, invoke your tears by listening to sad music. I would sit in a tub and just try to let it out, and then when it came out, I was like boo-hoo crying every day for a year. I needed it. And I also was drawing things that I saw, but I had people around me. Some people supported me, and some people couldn't handle the intense things I was going through and feeling and talking about. But yeah, and I went to a psychologist and stuff, and one of my teachers told me that eventually the self-care will win. And it's true, because now my habits and my feelings inside are starting to match. Like I'm starting to feel like I care, and not just go through the motions. I know when I feel sad or have a bad day, that don't mean I push myself even harder. That means I back off myself, you know, and take something off my plate, and maybe lay around and watch my favorite movies. And you know, yesterday I was having a bad day, and nothing seemed to work. I'm like, I don't want to watch TV. I don't really even want to call the same people I've been talking to. I don't like them anymore. I I don't want to eat junk food. I don't want to ingest negative things. Like these things don't make me feel good anymore. And so my herbal cards came in the mail, my herbal tarot deck, and I pulled some herbal cards, and then my intuition told me to go to this kind of health store that I didn't even know they had all those herbs and stuff in it, because the card I pulled was candle marigold, candle can candula, and you know, so I did get a chance to tap into what would actually make me happy, and I got out the house and I got some Palo Santo, and you know, I talked to some people outside the house and met new people that I never met before, and I hung out with a friend and her son, and the day ended up not being so bad. Like I went out for a walk even though I didn't freaking feel like it, you know. I was just feeling so rageful and lonely, And I just feel like this just stuff comes up. As stuff comes up, you deal with it. But there's ways to deal with it. And there's ways that you can make it worse. I don't think yesterday was a day for me to isolate. Sometimes there's days where you just need to shut out the world and like put the covers on, watch your favorite movies, get some bonbons, get some tissue, let yourself cry, write in a journal. This morning, because I don't really feel over it yet, so this morning I went to the park. One of my favorite places it has two ponds and a little beach, a man-made beach, and I painted. I watched the sun. I walked around the neighborhood, and you just have to keep going, and self-care, self-love, and eventually you'll feel better. And sometimes our cycles are like that. Like your shadow self comes out at different times, and you have to like just soothe yourself. Try to go on towards the side of soothing and comforting yourself. You had enough criticism, you know. And last month was a month for me. Last month my critical voice was real prevalent, so that I could see it clearly, face it, and choose to embrace myself. And the part of you I feel like you need to embrace, Virgo and Chiron people, Chiron in the 6th house or Chiron and Mercury people, is your innocence. And I said that about the 5th house too. And embrace your inner servant. Embrace the youthful child inside. And I know everyone is working on embracing their inner child, but even more so for you, because your inner child was too busy being sweet and didn't get a chance to play as much. And so people don't understand now that and with our development, you can't skip steps, right? So if you didn't get loved when you were a kid, then you're going to go searching for it as an adult. If you did not get, if you did not learn how to take care of yourself, then you're going to stink. And so you're going to have to learn how to take care of yourself. Your aura, your fragrance is, if your fragrance about yourself is off, then you're going to try to get the right fragrance. You know, if your inner child didn't get a chance to play, then you're going to play when you become an adult. I look at entertainers like Whitney Houston or even like a Beyonce, you know, Michael Jackson, people who spent most of their childhood working. They may look foolish to the public eye for playing, being like making the mistakes that you make in your teenage years or your 20s to everyone else, you know, but those are necessary steps in your development you need to take. And I know that's something that Chiron in the 6th house must go through, you know, feeling guilty for needing that. And so you might hide it. And again, that double life comes into view. Make sure that you have a limit for yourself, though. In one of my favorite books, The Women Who Run with the Wolves, guys can read it too, you should read it. She talks about, it's by Clarissa Pinkola Estes, just in case anybody wants to read it. But she talks about a person that has been locked away in a cage their whole life. And then when they get older, they set themselves free. They run away from home, whatever happens. You're hungry, you're starving. There's instincts that are starving. And it's like a ravenous wolf. It's going to go run out the cage and maybe kill more than it needs to kill, you know. And so what you have to do, you have to give yourself a limit. Like if you didn't get a chance to date because your family it has restrictions, gives you such high standards that you can't live up to them, and nobody you date can live up to it, you know. Um, and so instead of fucking everything you see, man, woman, dog, cat, robot, you know, give yourself some limitations. Give yourself limitations so that you can keep yourself safe. Like, I will always wear a condom. I will at least wait for 3 months. Like, you have to give yourself guidance that maybe you didn't get a chance to get when you were a kid because your guardians or your parents or whoever were too busy worrying about like an image or something like that. You know, they were too busy worrying about like, you better straighten up before we get out this house because they were always working or something. You couldn't ask them anything. It wasn't a safe place for you to get guidance. So now you have to live. There's no way to stop yourself. If you try to stop yourself from living, your cells in your body will respond by sending you signals called illness. You know, you have a blueprint. Not blue. It's not blue. I don't know what color it is, but you have a soul contract, and you have a will inside of you, and it's connected to divinity. You're an avatar. You were here with a purpose, and so to not live it is kind of the hold God back a bit, because you're God, you're goddess, you're an aspect of nature, and everything in nature is constantly moving, constantly changing, and so and part of your evolution is healing this wound. And evolution sometimes is a lot of pressure. It's like, if you can imagine a little seed trying to push its way out of the dark through the ground, it all depends on how deep it is. You know, some of our wombs, some of our seeds are really deep, deep rooted, deep rooted, and it's going to take a lot of pressure, evolutionary pressure, like diamonds, friction. If you look at it like that, then hopefully that helps me when I look at it like that. The call to evolve, it's like you can't run, you can't hide. You're like, like the screen picture, right? Okay, so I'm going to end this right here. I hope this is helpful. I have 2 more houses to do for Chiron, and then I'm going to do the 20 flame readings. Today's Tuesday. I should be able to at least do 5th house by Thursday because I work 12-hour shifts on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So bear with me. Thank you guys, and thank you for liking, subscribing, commenting. Thank you for joining my Patreon. For those of you that joined my Patreon, I appreciate it very much. I will talk to you soon. Bye.